Chapter 2. The Gotham Museum was celebrating a new wing by holding an exclusive viewing before it was open to the public. Attendance was by invitation only. Engraved invitation. The board of directors was sparing no expense, having long since realized that while museums may be intended for the public, it is always private capital that keeps them open. Bruce Wayne watched as the uniformed guard demanded proof before letting a young couple pass inside. The guard's voice was haughty and hostile, all at the same time. Bruce Wayne reached for the inside pocket of his midnight blue tuxedo, pleased but not surprised to discover that Alfred had remembered to include the invitation. But his attempt to show it to the uniformed guard was waved away with a respectful bow. "Everybody knows who you are, Mr. Wayne," the guard said, a servile whine to his voice that grated on the billionaire's already raw nerves. He glanced at the guard's chest, noting a brass nameplate. "Thank you, Otto," he said, walking past the purple velvet ropes into the new wing of the museum. The new wing was to be called Now and Today. It would concentrate on current topics of social and cultural importance. The first exhibit, The Greatness of Gotham, was already in place, showing the city's progress from a fur-trading outpost to a riverfront town more noted for its gambling casinos than for its civic achievements, to the thriving megalopolis it was today. Bruce Wayne, billionaire, was always welcome at such events. Indeed, to do otherwise than invite him would be to ignore the single largest source of charitable contributions in all of Gotham. Wayne might be at the end of any alphabetized list, but it was the first name any fundraiser tried. Of the $4 million raised for the new museum wing, Bruce Wayne had personally written a check for $500,000. He strolled aimlessly through the exhibit, shaking hands as many times as a politician, his face a mask of politeness. Gotham had many faces, many facets, but the Gotham so proudly displayed in the new exhibit was a triumph of public relations. It validated the belief that reality is what people are allowed to see, not what actually exists. As far as the Greatness of Gotham exhibit was concerned, the magnificent city was untouched by crime, homelessness, poverty, disease, or any other ills that so characterized urban life in the 90s. As Bruce Wayne traversed the exhibit, he felt he was walking a tightrope along the river of diamonds Gotham became when viewed from on high at night. In the museum exhibit, the fringe areas had all been sanitized, or eliminated entirely. "Bruce! Oh, Bruce! Over here!" He looked towards the source of the genteel shouting and spotted the infamous Diana Dorchester, a woman who fancied herself royalty because her husband's money generated a constant flow of sycophants trailing in her wake. Although a relatively young woman, her total self-absorption gave her an edge even on the elderly dowagers who had spent decades solidifying their precious social positions. Bruce Wayne slowly made his way over to Dame Diana, as she was called in the gossip columns, dreading the encounter but seeing it as unavoidable. "Oh, Bruce," she trilled, "isn't it just beautiful what they've done with the space?" "Beautiful," he agreed, already looking around for an exit. "It's so important to really make a difference," Diana proclaimed in a royal tone. She accepted the affirmative nods and murmurs of those around her as her due, basking in the approval of her inferiors. But Bruce was mentally chewing on her words, wondering for what seemed like the 1,000th time in the past months if the Batman was really, truly making a difference. Years and years of frontline battles, and what did the good people of Gotham have to show for it? As quickly as law enforcement filled the prisons, new felons rose up to take the place of the incarcerated. Wasn't there a way? "You call this PR stunt making a difference?" A sarcastic female voice lanced through the small throng, its barbs aimed directly at Diana Dorchester. The speaker was a young woman, striding forward with determination, her white blonde hair flowing behind her, her orange eyes flashing. An albino woman, Bruce Wayne thought, and a proud one too, noting the generously proportioned body wrapped in a plain black jersey dress.
I don't know your name, dear, Diana countered, but I recognize the rhetoric all too well. Each of us must decide for ourselves how we want to make our civic contributions. The problem is you want to make that decision for all of us. If you want to feed the homeless or build playgrounds or whatever, you just run along and do it. For myself, I consider the stimulation of civic pride to be a worthy endeavor.
Hear, hear! Several of Diana's entourage chanted. Others voiced their approval and support. All eyes turned to the albino woman.
This exhibit has nothing to do with civic pride, she said. The Gotham it shows is your Gotham. It has nothing to do with the way people actually live. But even the idle rich aren't immune from crime, and you can't make that go away with some phony exhibit. Oh, really? Diana hissed. Actually, my dear, everybody knows where crime comes from. From poverty, of course. Anything that improves the image of Gotham attracts investors, and investors mean jobs. Certainly you can...
Poverty doesn't cause crime, the albino woman interrupted. People cause crime. Poverty doesn't cause rape. It doesn't cause most murder either. We have to take the...
Oh, go find the soapbox,
Diana said, dismissing the other woman and turning to her entourage.
Shall we move on? There's so much we haven't seen yet.
Bruce Wayne watched the group move away, grateful for a moment of peace. But it wasn't to be. The albino woman closed in on him, cheeks slightly flushed with anger.
How come you didn't move along with the rest of them?
She demanded in a ready-for-combat voice. I've seen the exhibits, he replied mildly.
Do you believe what she said, that poverty is what causes crime?
It's a contributor, Bruce replied, but no rational person believes it's the sole cause. Where do you believe it comes from?
Like I said, it comes from...
People, I know, Bruce said. But don't you feel that's a bit simplistic? The real question is, which people, isn't it? Surprisingly, the exotic-looking woman flashed a dazzling smile.
Yes, she said, that is the question. And even though we know the answer, we don't do anything about it.
And the answer is?
Children, the woman said. I don't mean that children commit most of the crime, although they certainly commit an increasing amount of it. I mean the maltreatment of children is the greatest single contributor to later criminal behavior.
You mean like child abuse, that sort of thing?
Yes, Mr. Wayne, I mean exactly that sort of thing, she answered. In fact, that's what I do.
I don't understand, Bruce said. You apparently know my name, but I don't...
My name is Deborah, she said. Deborah Kane. I'm a caseworker with the Gotham Child Protective Services.
How did you
get in? It was easy enough. My old college roommate was invited. She told me about it. She wasn't going anyway, so I borrowed her invitation.
No, he said. I don't mean that. How did you get into your field, I guess?
Believe it or not, it was a course I took in college, the woman said. I wanted to be in the Peace Corps, but one of my professors showed us that children right here in Gotham, some of them anyway, are just as oppressed and mistreated as in any third world country.
He sounds like a man of compassion, Bruce Wayne said, an inquiring look on his face.
She is, the woman replied. Or at least, she was. She was killed last year.
Killed? How?
A gunshot. That's all we know. It's so sad. She was walking home after class when she found herself in the middle of a gunfight between two gangs. Gangs of kids. She was accidentally hit. An innocent bystander. I wonder if those kids know who they killed. I wonder if they care.
I'd like to learn more. About the children and crime, that is, Bruce Wayne said. Could I call you sometime?
I'll save you the trouble, the exotic woman said. If this is some kind of...
No, come on, he assured her. The woman regarded the tall, handsome man standing before her, a man who spent more on the suit he was wearing than she earned in a month. But all her innate prejudice against the idle rich vanished when she looked into his eyes. She had seen that look before, a look of deep, elemental pain. Without another word, she wrote a telephone number on the back of her engraved invitation and handed it to Bruce. The Batman's alter ego bowed gravely, as to a martial arts instructor. The albino woman returned his bow. Then she turned her back and walked away.